Everybody, this is Teddy Lim. Welcome to day 29 of my 90-day video challenge, and welcome to Project Limitless. Todd Parsons wrote an article on Business Week the other day where he actually talks about that about 1/3 of all U.S. marketers or companies that pay for marketing were dissatisfied with their social media results. And he points out a few interesting stats. He says that 38% of the surveyed companies or individuals targeted fans on social media. 38% of them, or only 38% of them, targeted friends of their friends. And there was over $2 billion spent on social media last year, where basically these companies are trying to reach, over 1 billion social media users, right? So now what he says that these companies are missing is the social component, where they've only been focusing mostly on, individual pockets of people or individual pockets of customers to focus on, rather than focusing on those relationships among those individuals. And he said another thing that you have to focus on is the economic influence power of those relationships, right? And it's interesting because relationships are, they're kind of hard to quantify in social, not unless you get really intrusive and really track down who hangs out with who outside, or who hangs out with who when they're checking into certain places, right? It's in the early stages, right? And so what he's saying and what he recommends is asking these 3 powerful questions to clarify and really be for companies to be able to target who their clients are, who they're going to be sending these marketing messages to, right? Number 1 is, who is most likely to influence their friends? If you've heard of the website Klout is actually a social media presence measuring device or measuring website where you go ahead and sign up for it. It links up to all of your other social media accounts, and it measures how much interaction you get from the posts or from the content that you put out there in social media. And now he says the higher your Klout score is, the more influential you are in social media, right? In these social media outlets. So ask that question: who is the most likely to influence their friends? Number 2 is, who is most likely to share with friends? And then again, it comes back to Klout, because if you share a lot, your Klout score goes up as well. And number 3 is, who is most likely to buy or take some action into advertising? See, now then again, it's gonna be a little bit intrusive when you figure out, oh, okay, there's this person, he does a lot of online shopping, or he does a lot of buying certain products and services in and out of the internet, right? And it kind of draws the line of how much inquiry should you make on that person, right? But there's other ways to figure it out. You could figure out when somebody just purchased something on the internet, or because of the way they're sharing it online, right? But it's still a little bit tedious. So by simply leveraging paid media in tandem with social activation, or companies wouldn't be able to have more of its audience do the selling than they can reach an audience in the process. So what he's recommending, what Todd Parsons is recommending, is to really target the leaders, really target the sneezers, or the people that write a lot of reviews, that broadcast a lot of messages online, and people listen to them because of the measurement of the interaction that they're getting, the likes that they're getting, the comments that they're getting, the shares that they're getting on the posts they have, right? he says, identify buyers, sharers, and influencers, and other consumers that are like them based on their social actions to further improve future promotions, right? It gets down to a real science, you guys. And like I mentioned earlier, granted, we're just in the early stages of social media, but just like Gary Vaynerchuk said back in 2008, you know, the 13-year-olds of today who are more comfortable using these technologies, today, guess what? They're 18 years old. And in another 5 years, they're going to be 21 years old. And they're going to be coming into the workforce, in the social media workforce. If you notice, a lot of things happened in the last 5 years. Guess what? All of these progressions and these innovations in the next 5 years is even going to be even more crazier. You know, and I cannot wait, right? Because there's a lot of new things coming out. They're going to be the ones who are going to be dominating audiences, right? You can see it now. You know, some just blogger girl by the name of Daily Grace. She has a huge influence online, and all she does is these quirky, funny little videos. You know, there's Jenna Marbles right now. She's been voted as one of the most influential people online by a panel of people, right? Panel of judges, panel of people, right? They're all people, but they all value their opinion and what they have to bring to the table because of the views, because of the likes, because of the shares that they're having, because of the comments that they're having, right? And these are all social measurements, right? So at the end of the day, companies should stop hiring, right, Gen Xers or baby boomers to handle their social media, because I'm sorry, but you know, they barely have a clue, you know, of what's going on. Not unless they're really diving into it and they use it, breathe it, you know, taste it, eat it, smell it 24/7, right? The other day, there was this article that came out about Amy's Baking Company, and it was a complete social meltdown. Complete social meltdown. Now, granted, I have other opinions, you know, but they just totally destroyed their brand in a matter of 24 hours because of the comments that they were putting. They didn't know. They thought they were just talking to individual people, but social is social. That's why it's called social media. And you know, there's a lot more things I could teach you guys about this, and I'd really like to continue this conversation. Go ahead and follow me on Facebook.com/global entrepreneur. Let's make some money online. I'll teach you how. Cheers.